Hey team, Jen here. I am coming to you here at the cusp of week 4. Week 4, we embark on really unpacking and teasing out one of the hottest topics in Victorian circles, which has been a hot topic for a very long time, at least since the publication of Gilbert and Gubar's The Mad Woman in the Attic. And this is the context of the woman question. This week, we delve into gender politics, body politics, sexuality issues during the Victorian period. And this is, there's so much. There's so much here going on in the Victorian period for many reasons, but primarily because women were really fighting for the vote. They were really fighting for a voice in the empire. And all of the things that come along with that, which is a lot of things. Our readings for this week are centered on issues of gender and sexuality, and primarily the woman question. So as you read the texts from the anthology this week, I'd like you to keep that in mind. But on the other hand, it's important that you continue to hone in on the context and the aspects of the readings that strike you, that seem interesting or problematic, or fruitful for more inquiry. Excuse me. In this video today, I'd like to give you an overview of week 4, and I'd also like to provide you with some tips for success to make sure that you're doing really well in week 4. In week 3, we did our first wiki, and feel free to go back to that wiki at any point to follow up. If you're part of that wiki, feel free to continue to make revisions. It is a living document. And let me know what you thought about that wiki experience, because as we go forth with more wikis, it's important, I think, that we keep checking in, because this kind of document is very new for so many of us, and it does cause a little bit of anxiety or discomfort or confusion. So continue to grapple with that and try to realize that feelings like that are okay to have in academia. In fact, I think that they can be some of the best feelings to have, because it can really catalyze us to think about things in different ways. So this week, in week 4, you have your first paper due, a report. And last week's video, I outlined some tips for getting started with that report. So I ask you to revisit that video if you are in need of some more tips this week. But as we move forward to the report, keep in mind that this is a formally formatted MLA document that ought to have as many of the key moves along the line of inquiry that you can bring to it. I want to invite you to visit my writing overview series on my YouTube channel, where I talk about a couple things that you could find useful for this deliverable. One of those things is my video on the line of inquiry. That'll give you a sense of what are the key moves of a formal document. Another video there is a basic overview on MLA formatting. If you are not familiar with MLA formatting, or you're not quite sure, maybe instructors from the past have had different senses of what MLA formatting is, keep in mind that there's only one way to do MLA format. So if you've had a number of instructors tell you things that have been kind of different than what you've heard from other instructors, there's only one thing for you to do, and that's to go directly to the MLA. As a graduate student, you should have a copy of the MLA handbook with you for all of your classes for all of time, right? It's kind of the Bible for English majors. It's very essential that you have this format memorized, kind of ingrained in you. Once you get a really clear knowledge of MLA, I encourage graduate students to branch off into other style formats too, familiarizing themselves with APA, Chicago, Turbanian, Harvard. There are many other styles that you may be asked to use when you're submitting a piece for publication. So it's good to start to get to know these citation styles very intimately and to become familiar with them. not only will you be asked to publish in these, but you'll also be asked to teach your students about them. So you want to have a very clear working knowledge of MLA format, at least, as you go forth from this program. So keep that in mind. For your first deliverable, your first essay deliverable, this report that's due here in week 4, I will be giving you comments directly in the Turnitin platform. So what needs to happen is when I've emailed you that I've finished my grading for the assignment, I'll ask you to go back to the Turnitin platform in Module 4. And there you'll be able to find my marginal comments, my end comments, and rubric comments, and also the voice comments that I've left for you. I can tell whether or not you have been back to look at my comments. And if you haven't, I will be following up with you because I think it's incredibly important that you read the feedback that I give you on these deliverables, on these essays, these formal essays, because getting that criticism, taking it in, processing it is going to really help you, I believe, to develop your academic prowess throughout the course. It's a very short course, and I try to make observations that are going to really help you to hone in on what I see as the strengths of your line of inquiry and some of the challenges, some of the holes, some places that might need work. You'll also notice that my commenting style throughout the term is going to evolve. So in the beginning of the term, the first few weeks, I'm extremely rigorous with outlining everything that I see in very clear language, I think. You may disagree, let me know if you do, for you to understand how you've performed. And you'll notice that as the term progresses, I evolve my grading style because I assume that you are reading those comments critically, you're reading them closely, and that you're developing an awareness. So I can be more short with my commenting. I can say, what you need here is more attention to stakes. And you'll know what I mean without me having to include 3 or 4 sentences to say so. This is true too with your essay commenting. You'll notice this first essay will be extremely rigorously graded. I really take my time trying to point out things. In the next essay, that will be true too. In the third one, you'll notice a kind of change happening where commenting is a little bit more terse. There's a little less of it. And I'm relying more heavily on a knowledge that is growing in you with coming to terms with what I mean when I say, you know, your line of inquiry needs some attention. So keep that in mind as we go forth. This week, in week 4 as well, you have a milestone due, that first milestone I was telling you about. Make sure that you submit that on time. If you are not going to be able to submit that milestone on time, the report that I was just talking about, then please let me know ahead of time and we can figure something out. Your wiki is due if you are in group 2, the second group. The week 4 wiki is due this week, and that is honing in on the woman question. And I really am looking forward to seeing what you have to say about that. If you have any questions this week, please never hesitate to let me know. Reach out to me in email, shoot me some questions in Twitter or on the forums, or I encourage you, of course, to always come to my online office hours. That's a space where we can interact one-on-one. Students who come to office hours tend to really enjoy the class a lot more than students who don't. And they tend to perform better, and they really squeeze out every possibility of growth from the course. So go ahead and schedule a time with me. We can meet, talk about your academic histories. We could talk about your ways of reading, your ways of writing, your strengths, your challenges. We can unpack texts even further that are interesting to you or texts that you struggle to find a connection with. We could use office hours for so many things. Please come. I hope to see you soon. Have a great week, guys. Bye.